the starting lineups. First for the Eagles, they have 3 1,000-point scorers amongst their top 5. Columbia leaning on the play of Perry Page thus far, who is leading the Ivy League in rebounds per game and is coming off her second career double-double in the overtime victory over Providence, as the opening tip is won by Florida Gulf Coast. And this is a matchup between two teams looking to set the tone amongst mid-majors across the nation. 8 on the shot clock for the Eagles. Roll overshoots the rim. Guess who? Page grabs the rebound, and the Lions will have their first possession. Kitty Henderson, named Ivy League Player of the Week, cannot finish inside. It's rebounded by Mitchell Steen, and you can see Florida Gulf Coast looking to push. She goes coast to coast, can't connect near the rim, but she will earn a trip to the free throw line as they're going to get the foul on Kitty Henderson, her first, the team's first.
Really great job attacking the basket there, Lance. This is going to be a track meet. I mean, both teams like to get up and down the court. It's going to be who can get in front of the other team as the defensive end and slow it down a little bit, or else we could see a game in the 80s or 90s.
Florida Gulf Coast lost its opener by 1 point to Davidson, as Skylar Gill, who we'll see come off the bench, had a floater from the free throw line that spun in and out. And it was a game in which we were talking to Carl Smesco, their head coach, Doug, right before this game. Didn't love the shot selection. They were only 2 of 13 from beyond the arc, and he just felt they didn't get enough separation on the penetration. But on that dribble drive by Mitchell Steen, she was able to get a step on the Columbia dig.
Davidson did a really nice job of sort of packing the paint and making sure they were there on the drives, but also not overhelping so they could guard the three-point line, which obviously, as we said, Florida Gulf Coast has made their money on for the last decade and a half.
A minute into the quarter here. Great perimeter D by the Eagles. Collins sealed off. 8 on the shot clock for Riley Weiss, their leading scorer. She pulls up. And off the loose ball, it's saved back to Weiss. Great hustle by Columbia. Collins straight away, around the rim and in. And the Lions strike first from beyond the arc.
Great hustle there by Henderson to get the second shot opportunity for the Lions, and Collins hit the 3.
Mitchell Steen lets it loose. Long carom will go out of play, and it will head back to Columbia, as Florida Gulf Coast now 0 for 2 from the field.
Just great ball movement around there off the offensive rebound left for a wide open 3 at the top of the key by Collins. Put the Lions on the board.
Collins only scored 4 points at Providence on Friday, but she's such an unselfish player that she can make an impact regardless of whether or not she's a prolific scorer.
And to back up your comment before about what Coach Tomesco said to us, with a lot of new faces here, it takes a little while to get used to each other on the offensive end for them, and some of the shot selection takes just time to get used to what's a good shot and what they're looking for. A little bit off in that first game against Davidson.
Especially since, Doug, they have 6 transfers and 6 fifth-year players. So there's a core that's returned. They have 3 of their top 4 scorers from last season, but also a lot of new faces that are getting used to one another. As the Lions trying to work it around the perimeter here. Weiss was off the mark from mid-range. Good defense off the elbow. 8 on the shot clock as Collins looks to get a running start. Working baseline in the corner to Kitty. And it's rebounded by Lauren Taylor, the transfer from D2 Francis Marion University in South Carolina. She only set the NCAA record with 43 boards in a game last season, but her 3 is not going to drop there.
I remember seeing those numbers when they came through, and I was like, 43, that's insane. Every board went her way. She grabs loose balls. She's a great rebounder. They may not have the size, but they know how to rebound. That's what matters more sometimes.
Well, and she gives them a front court presence that they have not had in recent years, Doug, because they have been a perimeter-based team. As the Lions working outside, Collins caught underneath with 10 on the shot clock here for Weiss. Throws a few jabs the way of Jefferson, as they now have 5 on the shot clock. Kitty is going to draw the foul on the dribble penetration, as that will be the first offense against the Eagles.
Lance, I mean, the other thing is they're used to playing a 5-out offense, which is nobody in the post, leaving spacing for drives and such. Having a post player is not something that coach is used to. So it may take a little while to get used to how to feed the post, how to work off a post player. It takes a little bit of time to get used to that, but I have a feeling they're going to be right where they want to be when the season goes along, which is usually, as you said, top of the ASUN.
Maddie Antonucci in for the first time as she looks to defend Perry Page, who cuts down the lane and lays it in as Columbia pads its lead.
Nice lefty shot high off glass there for the Lions. Good ball movement led to a good post touch.
As Perry's already in mid-season form. Antonucci loses her footing, looking for a teammate, tries to roll it to Mitchell Steen, and Jefferson will reset here. And that'll be a travel on Mitchell Steen, and it'll be turnover number 1.
A little disjointed on offense there, a ball rolling around a little bit, and led to that travel, but good defense by the Lions, making them get into uncomfortable situations on the offensive end.
So scoring drought of nearly 2.5 minutes for the Eagles. Henderson leaves it for Collins, tries to get it across the lane to Page. It was last touched by her, so one turnover leads to another as the Lions holding on to a 3-point lead, shooting 40% from the field, and Florida Gulf Coast has yet to knock down a field goal, 0 for 3.
Yeah, good help defense there led to that pass. You thought she had her teammate open, but a little bit errant on the pass.
Tom Danaher, John Capolino, and Whitney Armstrong are 3 officials here in New York City. Second game of the year for Florida Gulf Coast, the third for Columbia. Taylor sealed off from the floor, tries to get it to a teammate. We're going to get a jump ball. Jefferson and Henderson were locked up. And the possession arrows in favor of Columbia is Megan Griffith, animated on the sideline, trying to get her team to respond to its defensive intensity on the offensive side.
Jefferson, I believe, Lance, last year was the newcomer of the year, defensive player of the year, and player of the year in the ASUN. That's a pretty good trifecta to have for a player on any team, and for Gulf Coast, one of the best players they've had in the last
also
2 years.
First team all ASUN. Shame on you for leaving that off the list, but will allow you to overcome that one strike here early on. And she has left her mark across women's college basketball. She transferred from Memphis prior to last season, was at Wright State prior to that. And Susie Raffew's going to get tied up, and now the jump ball possession arrow will go the opposite way. Great hustle there by the Eagles.
Good defense by both teams so far early here. As we said, Florida Gulf Coast 0 for 3 from the field, Columbia 2 of 5. Turnovers starting to mount up a little bit for both teams, but again, not bad turnovers since they're in the backcourt, not leading to points yet.
So the Eagles trying to end a scoring drought, which is now over 3 minutes. Can this answer the call? Yes, it can. Dial it up long range for Dolly Cairns. The 50-year senior out of Saratoga Springs, New York, knocks down the first field goal, and then another turnover against Columbia, their third.
Yeah, just happy feet there. As we see a nice dish out to Dolly in the corner there, open 3. You cannot leave Florida Gulf Coast open for 3. She buries it there. First basket of the game for the Eagles.
Barron's knocked down 62 trays last season. Speaking of threes, here's another long arcing shot. Taylor there to clean it up. Still fighting for the loose ball, and this is going to go the opposite way. They're going to say she was a bit over-aggressive fighting with Raffew. That'll be her first.
A little overzealous there, but I love the hustle. I mean, goes for the offensive glass really, really well. Got the first one, couldn't convert it. A little too much on that second one.
Taylor is quite the presence. An elite rebounder, an extremely skilled player, and you can see the hustle that she shows on both ends. Is the Lions try to go backdoor, a kick ball. So we'll stay on this side of the court. We'll get a substitution upcoming here for the Eagles. Jefferson's going to get a breather. Mitchell Steen back in for her.
Scrappy play by the Eagles there on both ends of the court. Knowing that they don't have many players over 6'1", if any at all, they have to all be aggressive on the boards on both ends to not allow second and third chances for the Lions.
Kaylin Flowers in also for the first time this season. She did not play in Tuesday's loss at Davidson, and she gets the ball knocked away into the hands of Cairns. And now the Eagles operating in the half-court set as we approach the 5-minute mark here in quarter number 1. Mitchell Steen off penetration, tries to leave it for Cairns, stolen by Weiss. It's a 2-on-2 break. Weiss trying to settle down underneath the bucket, the floater short, and it's ripped out of her hands by Mitchell Steen. And here we come back the opposite way as the Eagles will slow things down. Cairns thinking about the 3. They move it around the perimeter. Cairns takes over. Left side, tightly guarded by Henderson. Good look for Taylor straight away. And the rebound by Antonucci takes a dribble and lays it in. And just like that, FGCU with its first lead of the game.
Just again, relentless on the offensive glass, led to a second shot, easy opportunity, gave Florida Gulf Coast the lead.
Collins goes swish with a defender right in her face, and the seesaw battle ensues. No lead is safe in this game thus far. Columbia is winning the battle on the glass, but second chance opportunities coming for Florida Gulf Coast as Cairns tries to bounce it in the lane to Antonucci. And with that, the ball will stay on this side of the court, but we'll take a breather. It's Columbia and FGCU back and forth in the early stages of this one in NYC. Doug, they're still hungry. We spoke to them right at Media Day. They want to win their first outright Ivy League title and, of course, try to get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament as opposed to an at-large one.
Yeah, they still have goals to accomplish, and those are good goals to have. They start off the season the right way, and hopefully they continue it into the Ivy League season after the new year.
Off the inbounds, a nifty move there by Serena Roll, the redshirt junior out of Eustis, Florida, as FGCU reclaims the lead. Columbia has turned the ball over 5 times, and the Eagles have scored 5 points off of those mishaps. Here's Avlihash off the bench. Can't get it to fall, but she was fouled and will head to the line. The sophomore out of Serbia, who has provided quite the spark off the bench this season thus far.
Yeah, nice baseline drive there. A little bump on the hand as she shot it in the arm, so goes to free throw line. Good way to get some free points there as you come into the game and get yourself ready and going.
Mitchell Steen picking up her second is Avlihash coming in just 25% free throw shooter. She's now 1 for 5 on the season and also has yet to make a 3. She's 0 for 8 in the first 2 contests. But what she really brings to the table is her ability to get to the hole and play defenses. That is not the start she anticipated, missing both from the charity stripe. Roll, trying to solve Raffiu. Antonucci trying to set a screen for Mitchell Steen, who gets bumped underneath and also steps out of play. And that is going to be turnover number 4 for the Eagles.
Nice job sliding her feet there, cutting off that baseline, so she had no choice but to step out of bounds and get the ball back to the Lions. Good defensive stop there. Make up for missed free throws with a good defensive possession. And
we see Maria Aribola in for the first time tonight for Columbia. Gets the handoff from Avlihash. Kitty Henderson, Perry Page, and Cecilia Collins rounding out the 5. So the Lions have 16 to work with on the shot clock, and they're not going to have more. A steal, and going coast to coast there is Skylar Gill, who couldn't get it into the hole. But another second chance opportunity here for FGCU. Good ball movement around the perimeter. They'll reset with Roll. Antonucci off the dribble, threads the needle to Roll, and she can't finish on the bunny, and back the other way we go. Missed opportunity for both teams thus far.
What a really nice pass there to get a layup opportunity, just the ball didn't go down.
Page backing her way to the hole. It has been tough sledding for the Lions to get a good look here. Henderson, the baby hook, too hard. And then a foul underneath against Kitty Henderson as she went for the loose ball. And that's going to be her second already. So Megan Griffith goes to the bench. Riley Weiss in. Kitty takes a seat.
Yeah, it's weird. It has the feeling of a Monday game. It was just a little sloppiness both sides, you know, coming off a weekend. And neither team's really gotten to establish itself offensively. Turnovers are up there, missed bunnies, missed easy shots. Both teams need to settle down a little bit on the offensive end and continue to do what they're doing as far as getting the good opportunities.
Well, it's understandable more for the Eagles. They haven't played in nearly a week. Columbia had a game on Friday. But to your point, they did have the weekend off to regroup. As Cairns slides it over to Jefferson with 10 on the shot clock. Out to Gill, the transfer from Kansas. They've got 5 to work with. Roll left all alone. Puts it up. And it's rebounded by Weiss. And with under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, the Lions trying to end a scoring drought of nearly 2.5 minutes. Collins, difficult shot, short. Antonucci, the strong board, out to Roll, and the Eagles looking to push. They play catch around the perimeter. Roll sets the screen for Antonucci. Touch passes across the perimeter. Jefferson, their leading scorer on the season, is going to draw the blocking foul. And are they going to now reverse it? They're reversing it. Initially, it looked like the official underneath called the blocking foul as we take another look.
Yeah, I mean, she had really good position there. The question was, did the outside girl hit her? But the officials, being smart, got together and said, hey, you know what? Let's discuss it. Offensive foul, go the other direction.
So that'll be number 1 on Jefferson. 14 fouls for the Eagles as we approach the minute mark in the first quarter. Both teams now have not scored in over 2.5 minutes. Columbia's 3 of 9 from the field. Collins giving up her dribble in no woman's land. Weiss, it's going to go the opposite way. Another offensive foul, 1 on each end, as the officials not giving either team breathing room in this one.
No, I mean, they're calling it tight. Adjust your game to what they're officiating, the way they're officiating. You have offensive fouls, you had over-the-back fouls. Most of these fouls are coming on the offensive end, which is, you like the aggressiveness, but again, adjust your game to how the officials are calling it.
And Doug, we've had 7 turnovers for Columbia in the last 6 minutes and change. This is a team that averages 16 a game, but it's never a good sign when you're almost halfway home after 1 quarter. Roll with 15 on the shot clock. She's been active, out to Taylor. Sealed off by Page. Page nearly picks her pocket. Jefferson trying to salvage this one. 4 on the shot clock. Out to Antonucci. Lets it fly. And Avlihash grabs the board. Shot clock, game clock, even. Avlihash going coast to coast. Denied by Antonucci. Out of play. It will stay with the Lions, and they will be able to hold for the final shot.
I don't mind that aggressive play. I mean, you could say maybe bring it out, hold for the 1 shot, but she had, in her mind, an advantage there. Take it hard to the basket. Maybe get fouled, maybe you make it. Otherwise, ball back to your team. You can hold for 1 now. Then for end of the first quarter, get the last shot if you want.
Roll takes a seat. Mitchell Steen back in, and immediately looking for Weiss, who gets the inbounds. So we'll see if the Lions hold for the final shot or try to be aggressive here, and it looks like they're going to back it out as Megan Griffith telling her team to take its time. Mitchell Steen all up in the grill of Weiss, who is 0 for 2 from the field, has yet to score. Weiss in the lane. A lot of traffic. Taylor clears it out. Can they get a shot off? Not in time for Cairns, and that is going to do it for the first 10 minutes of play. An entertaining back-and-forth affair. Cecilia Collins showcasing her range.
Athletically, they're pressuring. They love to pressure the ball. They make life difficult for their opponent. And listen, there's a reason they were number 3 all time in the last 3 years for wins, and they're number 1 in right now in win percentage in the history of the program that Coach Semesco started here many years ago.
And that is turnover number 8 for Columbia. The Eagles have scored 5 points off of that. They're the only women's basketball team that has a winning percentage over 800. UConn and Tennessee are 2nd and 3rd respectively. Not to take anything away from those 2 programs, but it just goes to show you the job that Semesco has done 23 years ago, building this program up from scratch, relying on Jefferson this season to do the scoring, and she gets tied up underneath, but it will stay with the Eagles.
No, he's done a tremendous job. I can tell you his name has been up for many jobs around the country, yet he stayed with Florida Gulf Coast. He likes it down there. It's been a great environment. He's built it. So his name is out there. People know who he is. They know who this program is, but he's happy to continue to stay where he is right now.
And they won immediately, Doug, and that's a big reason why he was able to get recruits. You know, normally you start a program from scratch, you have a few losing seasons. That was not the case for this program as they inbound to Jefferson with 18 on the shot clock. Good look for Cairns from the corner as Raffu secures the rebound, and the Lions looking to pick up the tempo, shooting just 27% from the field and plagued by turnovers. Now the Eagles are only shooting 20% from the field. So both teams have not been able to find the rhythm. Avlihash, the leaner in the lane. Again, not enough muscle put into these shots. Weiss off the jab. Taylor gets a hand in it, still fighting for it, and Jefferson comes out of the pack. Just has to solve Weiss, goes up strongly and draws the foul. So Jefferson will head to the line to shoot 2.
a nice take there to getting to the basket. Again, Jefferson going with a little hesitation there and then using her body to protect the basketball, going up and getting fouled, going to the line, hopefully to get 2 points. Offense has been at a premium so far in the first 11 minutes of this game.
And that is a key dribble drive for Jefferson, because not only do you get to the line as we look at her resume, but you also force Riley Weiss to pick up her second personal, the leading scorer for Columbia. She goes to the bench. And Jefferson, who fouled out with 5 minutes to go in their opener at Davidson, is an efficient player, but one of the things that Carlos Amesco had said is she just needs to be a little bit more disciplined and smarter in terms of her aggressiveness on defense.
Yeah, I think she played 15 minutes in that game, and when your best player only plays 15 minutes, it's tough to win basketball games.
Another steal for the Eagles as Mitchell Steen trying to get an opening off the left side. They'll wisely reset. They're 1 for 8 from downtown. Can Jefferson end that? Gives it up off the extra pass. Mitchell Steen left to right, gets tied up, but a travel before that, and that is turnover number 6 for FGCU. We have a total of 15 in this game thus far.
15 turnovers and 6 made baskets is not a recipe for a lot of baskets going in and a lot of offense. But you know what? It's been good defense on both sides. I mean, there is sloppy play, obviously, but both teams are playing gritty man-to-man defense, making life difficult for their opponent.
Columbia, in their opener here against Stony Brook, had 16 steals in that game. Stony Brook only made 16 shots. So the ratios that are not attractive are continuing here in New York City as Raffu gives it up to Perry Page. Page maneuvering on Antonucci. Stops, pops, and can't float it home. Taylor lost control of it. It will stay with the Lions. They'll have 20 on the shot clock as Taylor has been a menace on the glass. No surprise that she set the NCAA record for a single game.
And let's be honest, Lance, games like this get you ready for March. March basketball in the tournament is never pretty. It's always about getting ready, gritty defense. Who's going to be able to do other things when shots aren't falling? The other team scouted you really well. So what can you do to help your team win? It's 9-8 right now. Both teams are doing other things besides scoring to make this game still competitive, as it's only 1-point basketball game right now.
Well, because when you get to March Madness, you're going up against teams that are just as strong as you in those main categories. Henderson posting up and kisses it off the glass for a deuce as the Lions finally get back in the scoring column in what seemed like forever.
A much-needed basket by the Lions there.
So now the Eagles trying to return the favor. Dangerous pass, nearly stolen by Nasi Simmons, checking in for the first time today, the freshman out of Brockton, Massachusetts. She had 5 points in 9 minutes at Providence on Friday, and then Aribola, a fellow freshman, getting her hand in the passing lane.
Again, Lions using their size a little bit here to make it more difficult to make these passes on the outside.
Jefferson off the crossover, out to Cairns from the corner. Right into the hands of Roll, who will look to reset. The scoop shot, and Raffu there for another board, and Raffu can dribble and run point. Florida Gulf Coast shooting under 20% for the field. Columbia under 30, and Raffu is not going to help that cause. It's a loose ball on the floor. Page saves it to Kitty. And everybody's getting down and dirty in this one. And then an offensive foul. Raffu setting an illegal screen, and that will head back to the Eagles.
Another turnover, just really good hustle there by Page to save the ball from going out of bounds, but a little bit aggressive on that screen there. Didn't have her feet set. As we see, the shoulder lean in there and feet set to get the offensive foul. Maybe give her another half step. That way you're not going to call for that.
Roll, trying to get the advantage on Simmons with Cairns taking over. And Simmons nearly another steal. And they're going to get a travel on Roll. 7 turnovers for FGCU.
Just another great hustle play in the Lions to get them out of sync a little bit, and happy feet caused the turnover.
Columbia has made 4 shots, has coughed it up 10 times. Florida Gulf University, has made 3 shots and has 7 turnovers as Kitty Henderson can't get the roll. Loose ball is going to go in the hands of the Eagles, and they're going to say it was last touched by Columbia. Good hustle there by Casey Santoro, 5th-year senior.
Lance, my buddy Tim Reynolds, who's the AP writer in Miami, or NBA writer, had a stat the other night that over the weekend, teams in Florida in the college football and the NFL were winless. First time that's ever happened in a weekend. Lions looking to continue that streak for Florida. I don't know how basketball carries into that, but that's amazing that no football team from Florida won over the weekend, which is crazy thing about how good those teams are usually.
The Sunshine State having a rough go in multiple sports. Though the Eagles did win, the Philadelphia Eagles, of course, so perhaps that will help FGCU as Roll is going to head to the bench here. Carla Semesco talking things over with her. Jefferson, Antonucci, Gill, Santoro, and Cairns, the 5 in for Florida Gulf Coast.
The way to beat pressure is to sort of either screen or backdoor cut. And the Lions had a couple, they just couldn't get the passes through, but that's the way to beat a team that's pressuring you.
Raffu with 10 on the shot clock. And she took one too many steps as the mishaps just continue to pile up.
Just mistake after mistake, turnover. The good news for both teams going into the final 5:40 of this half is I'm not sure they could play much worse offensively. It's only a 1-point game. So you're happy with your defense, and you can clean things up, hopefully, to get more points on the board.
Well, neither team is allowing any offensive flow, as it's now a scoring drought of over 2 minutes for the Lions. And Kitty Henderson bumped Jefferson. And that is significant because that is her 3rd. So Riley Weiss, who's coming back into the game, Doug, is going to play with 2. And Kitty Henderson goes to the bench with 3. Those are the top 2 leading scorers for the Lions.
And Florida Gulf Coast loves to attack the basket, and they're going to probably try to attack Riley to get that 3rd foul on her. Not a good sign for the Lions having the starting backcourt on the bench, or potentially on the bench with 5 fouls total.
Especially given how the pacing of this game is playing out. They work it around the perimeter. Gill and Cairns. Here's Gill on the floater with 1 on the shot clock. Off the back iron. Raffu with the board, and the Lions are trying to pick up the pace. Collins, the runner in the lane. Short has been the story of their offense. She's still fighting for the loose ball. We're going to get a jump ball. Possession arrow is in favor of Columbia. And we'll have subs on both ends. We'll also have a timeout. We take another look. Kitty Henderson, the soft touch off the glass as buckets have been far and few. Here in the second quarter alone, that's not even including what happened in the first 10 minutes of play. They're 1 for 12 from the field, 7 turnovers.
I mean, Lance, I said it could be a track meet. I didn't mean that they wouldn't actually put the ball in the basket. But listen, I'm a half glass full kind of guy. Columbia 4 baskets on 4 assists, so they're at least sharing the ball that way. But the ball's got to go in eventually, right?
Well, it's not going in again as Raffu can't get the roll, and it was last touched by Columbia, so it will head back to FGCU. As the Eagles are 3 of 18 from the field. No one has scored more than 3 points for the Eagles. Can this stop the bleeding? And the 3-pointer by Alana Page off the right side of the rim. Collins leads all scorers with 6. She's got 60% of Columbia's scoring as Avlihash was fouled as she was going right to left. And that is going to go against Page. That'll be her first and the team's second.
She's just aggressive. Nice left-handed drive there, going to the basket again, the foul call. Aggressive things, eventually shots will fall. Being that way on offense could be good for the Lions to try to finally get some points on the board.
And yet, another turnover even before the inbounds. An offensive foul. And that is number 3 on Riley Weiss. So Riley Weiss and Kitty Henderson each have 3s. 3 personals. So now Megan Griffith, no surprise, immediately goes to the bench. Nasi Simmons is in for her.
Yeah, not a good spot for the Lions with their starting backcourt now on the bench with 3 fouls each. But you know what? Defense is holding. Defense is going to win this game, it seems. So see if they can hold on for the last 4:15 of this second quarter.
Well, there's a big opportunity, though, for Florida Gulf Coast to take advantage of Columbia not having its scoring load in. As Antonucci short. Avlihash beats out Gill. As Gill trails her into the open court. Avlihash calling for the screen from Rafu. Dumps it inside, catches and lays it in, and that ends a scoring drought of nearly 4 minutes for the Lions.
Just a nice job there slipping the screen there and getting the nice pass from her teammate for the easy lay-in.
And another jump ball. Simmons got locked up with Jefferson. So instead of a turnover, it's going to stay with the Eagles. Jefferson now will head to the bench for FGCU, and it will be Cairns who will inbound. As Mitchell Steen returns to the game, Page off the dribble, the awkward floater. Looked like it was partially blocked, and it was by Avlihash. So again, they'll inbound from underneath. As we have Roll returning for the Eagles. Page will take a seat. So it's Roll, Antonucci, Cairns, Gill, and Mitchell Steen in the game, as they have gone over 10 minutes without a make. They are desperate for an offensive spark. And the three-point shooting not showing up again after they were 2 of 13 in the opener at Davidson. Antonucci, a great look. Can't get it to fall. Simmons the rebound. Page, excuse me. And the outlet goes to Avlihash. Rafu calling for the ball. The give and go with Avlihash, and she will earn a trip to the free throw line.
Avlihash and Rafu doing a nice job working together, getting each other good looks at the basket. Again, hopefully going to the free throw line, even though she struggled so far this season, get a couple easy points and get her going on the offensive end.
So that one went against Antonucci. That is her first, the team's third. Jefferson will return. And heading to the bench is Antonucci. So Avlihash is the only Columbia Lion to go to the line tonight, and she missed both. And coming in was just 25% on the young season. And she is now 0 for 3. So if turnovers combined wasn't enough, which is now at 20, if missed shots wasn't enough, both of the teams have also now combined for 5 missed free throws.
Is that the reverse jinx that she made the free throw there?
As I say multiple times, we only report the facts. What the players determined to do with those facts remains to be seen. Roll, thought about a 3, whips it out to Gill with 15 on the shot clock. Everybody touching it. Cairns off the right post. Simmons all over her. 8 on the clock for Mitchell Steen. Cairns straight away with 4. Air ball. Rafu playing the job of a point guard and will give it up to Avlihash as Columbia has a 4-point lead, and a dangerous pass intended for Page, and it was knocked away by a pair of Eagles.
Lance, I mean, the Lions every game are trying to get teams to under 10 points in a quarter. So far this game, they have 9 in the first quarter they held Florida Gulf Coast to, and none in the second quarter. So the defense has been fantastic. They just can't put the ball in the basket.
This is a football-esque game, and Collins adds to the tally for Columbia as they are shutting out Florida Gulf Coast 7-0 in this period, and Collins leads the way with 8. Roll the runner in the lane. Too high. Gill the rebound. Jefferson from the corner. And the Eagles cannot buy a bucket. They're 1 of 14 from three-point land as Gill blocks Collins. And there was a foul as well, so Cecilia will head to the line.
Yeah, Mitchell Steen got her with the body before the great block there. As we see Collins going to the basket, being aggressive tonight. The body got her before the block by Gill, going back to the foul line. Again, aggressive play by Collins. Really nice job tonight. Last game, she, I think, only had 4 or 6 points against Providence. Has already doubled that total potentially tonight.
Mitchell Steen is heading to the bench after picking up her third. Kaylin Flowers in for her. Collins, last season, one of the best free throw shooters in the nation, was tops in the Ivy League at 86%. Prior to that, make 2 of 4 this season. But the numbers could be a bit skewed because there haven't been nearly as many attempts. And Collins cashes in, and she is responsible for 10 of Columbia's 17 points. And that's the beauty of a player like that. She knows when to step it up if her teammates are struggling. Karen's looking to do the same. Off the left side of the rim, Jefferson an offensive board. Karen's again, this time from the wing. And Collins there for the rebound. 1 of 16 from triple end. They kick it out to Oblihash with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half. And we're going to get a whistle away from the ball. It's going to go against Flowers. That'll be number 1 on her.
Yeah, she was a little bit too aggressive going after Collins off the ball there, and that got the foul, which I believe will send Collins to the line as they're over the limit.
Indeed, that was the team's 5th. And it won't be Collins, it will be Blautor who will be the recipient. Sophomore out of Spain, shooting 67% from the line this season. That is just her 4th attempt. So that now dips to 50%. See, a lot of math we're showcasing in the first half of this broadcast.
Lance, the last basket and last points by Florida Gulf Coast came with 3:47 left in the first quarter. So we've gone, I think, 12 minutes now without a point for them, which is, again, good defense by Columbia, but just they're missing shots.
Well, what's remarkable is the fact that they're only down by 9 under those circumstances, as we look at them being 0 for 14 in the second quarter alone. Dribble drive by Jefferson finally answers the call. And after a double-digit minute drought, Florida Gulf Coast gets back on the board, its first 2 points here in the second quarter. Oblihash off the penetration, gets it over Taylor for a deuce. And Columbia the first team to 20, which is an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Florida Gulf Coast, you're down 9 right now. It could be a lot worse the way you shot in this first half, yet you're only down by 9 points.
Antonucci with 15 on the shot clock. Flowers off the pump. Just lost the ball as she went up. Antonucci picks it up. She can't follow through. And Tor comes out of the pack with the ball, and the Lions get hold for the final shot of the first half, as they have hit their last 3 attempts. And they're looking to trap now Oblihash, and she throws it off of the foot of Jefferson, so it will stay with the Lions, as it will be Oblihash inbounding the basketball. And we're going to see Karina Gordon in for defensive purposes. Gill comes back. It's actually hockey line changes here. Cairns, Roll, Gill, Gordon, and Taylor. No player was safe that was currently in the lineup for the Eagles.
I like that they trapped that. Like they were aggressive, not just let Columbia hold for the last shot of the half right away.
Yeah, why let them milk the clock? As Collins again trapped now on the opposite side to Oblihash with 7. 5 seconds to go in the first half. Oblihash with a baseline. Collins the jump shot. And Gill the rebound to put a bow on the first 2 quarters of this contest, in which Columbia, they're in the USCAA. So as far as D1 opponents, it's the fewest points allowed in a quarter since Georgetown had 4 in the first on November 21st, 2021, and Columbia wound up winning that game in double overtime. So we are really testing the archives here in the early stages of the 24-25 campaign. As the Lions operate to start the third. Nice feed from Collins to Raffu, and it's almost as if there is a lid on both buckets. Roll has it opening. Down the lane, lays it in, and a great start for the Eagles here in the third quarter as they already matched their total from the second quarter.
Just both teams got shots they wanted to start off the second half. Columbia missed the layup. Florida Gulf Coast made a layup.
And now FGCU putting out the defensive clamps. Mitchell Steen running a 2-on-1 break, leaves it for Taylor, who goes up but can't finish, yet she will earn a trip to the charity stripe.
Aggressive play there by Florida Gulf Coast on the first two possessions. A nice bounce pass there for potentially the three-point play, but she just couldn't put the ball in the basket. Goes to the line here for 2 free throws.
That's number 2 on Rafu, the team's first here in the third. Taylor, the fifth-year senior out of Blythewood, South Carolina. Last 4 seasons played at D2 Francis Marion University. She was Conference Carolina's Player of the Year last season, as well as all-conference first team each of the last 2 seasons, also Defensive Player of the Year. And her late father, Rodney Taylor, actually played basketball at Villanova in the late 80s, early 90s, and helped the team get to the Elite 8 in 1988. As Weiss, awkward shot off the back iron into the hands of Jefferson. And FGCU on the attack. Out to Cairns for 3. They're 1 of 17 from three-point range.
A key thing for the Lions here is they cannot afford a 4th foul on either Kitty Henderson or Riley Weiss early here in the third quarter, as both have 3 and are a big part of their offense the first couple games. Is another miss on the offensive end by Columbia.
And all of these misses are right around the cup. Cairns gives up her dribble. Roll. Fires and connects. Just the second made 3 of the evening for the Eagles, and they are soaring. A 7-0 run to start the third, and they're within 2.
I mean, a team that shoots the 3 as well as they do historically, you knew would eventually start making some, and couldn't come at a better time for the Eagles. As a match there by Cece Collins gets the Lions on the board here in the third quarter.
Collins now has 14. She is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc as Jefferson continues towards the bucket. They're going to wave it off, an offensive foul. And that could have been a huge turning point for FGCU.
Yeah, I mean, wave off the basket. Nice play there by her, but just a little bit too aggressive. Offensive foul drawn by the Lions. A momentum shift there back Columbia's way.
Despite the surge, FGCU still shooting just 18% for the field. Columbia at 29%. And we have some contact underneath. Collins and Jefferson were fighting for position. So that is going to be another quick foul against Jefferson. And that's number 3 on her. So 3s across the board on both sides. As Roll takes a seat, Santoro in for her. And then Jefferson will get a breather as we see Antonucci come in the game. And it looks like we've got one of the players with a cut. That's Blautor. So the officials allowing the teams to take a breather here as they're working on the finger, it appears, of Blautor. And they're checking to see whether or not there's any blood on her jersey. And it looks like there's a few dots of blood on the jersey. So they're going to have to make sure they take care of that before we resume play here.
Yeah, I think you're allowed 20, 25 seconds to get the blood off, or else the player must come out. So the officials give them a chance, check it out, make sure the blood's gone, wiped it off, it will stay in the game.
Well, they're still in the reviewal process, Doug. So I don't know if they've given the clearance here. And now they have. Whitney Armstrong, one of the officials, was making sure that Blautor's jersey was back to white. Collins off the inbounds. Flips it out to Weiss, who's been quiet in this game. And now all of a sudden, she makes her presence felt. She missed her first 5. Number 6 gets it to go.
I mean, it's tough. When you get in fouls early and foul trouble, it's tough to get a flow offensively. Missed the first couple shots. She's only a sophomore. It takes a little bit of time to sort of get into the flow of the game, and she hit that basket. Maybe gets her going on the offensive end.
Pulls up. Off the right side, Taylor the rebound. That's one of the things that Riley Weiss has been working on this season, because it was, Doug, the little things last season that could easily fluster her and take her out of a game. Mitchell Steen way off the mark from beyond the arc, and the air ball will give it back to Columbia.
And let's be honest, as a freshman, I think she had a little bit shorter leash last year from Coach Griffith as far as playing time on the court. Something goes wrong, maybe not have as much leeway to make a mistake and recover from it. Now she has a little more leeway, a little more confidence from Coach.
and also more on her shoulders, given the fact that they need her scoring without Abby Shue in the mix, is Collins is going to have that bucket waved off. An offensive foul, sacrificing her body underneath was Antonucci.
Nice drive to the basket. Antonucci do a good job getting out of the restricted area there, planting her feet, taking the charge, going the other way. Really nice job there on the help defense.
Now, given the sluggish start for both teams and how the Eagles performed at Davidson, they were dealing with hurricane season in Fort Myers, Florida, right before the season started, and it limited their ability to have scrimmages and practice because for 9 to 10 days, Doug, they did not have access to their court, which was being utilized as a local shelter.
Yeah, I mean, credit to them to do what they did. Coach Semesco said to us, listen, it's not an excuse. It's not why we didn't win the first game, not why we we're playing well, but it does take its toll. And not being able to be in your home, not having power in some areas for a while, makes it difficult. And it showed, especially some new players fitting in 6 transfers, to be able to perform at your best, especially in the preseason to get ready. It does take its toll. It takes them a little bit longer to get used to playing with each other on the court. And let's be honest, he said it's not an excuse. He wasn't saying this is why we're not playing well, but it does take time away. 8 practices you lose is not good for a team.
So that was the 10th turnover, a shot clock violation. And since they couldn't use their own court, they had to use a complementary court, which was much smaller and tighter, and you can't play full court. So it limited the opportunity to chemistry, to your point. Weiss could not get the roll on one end. Antonucci leaves it for Jefferson, who finishes at the cup, plus the foul. And she'll have an opportunity to complete the three-point play and a much-needed bucket that ended another lengthy scoring drought.
Loose ball there, a nice pass to her teammate Jefferson, who's cutting for the basket with the left-hand layup there and the foul. She's getting going a little bit. Coach took her out when she got that third foul. Talked to her for a second. Hey, settle down. It's okay. Adjust your game to how the officials are calling it. And sure enough, put her back in. Three-point play opportunity.
Foul was on Tor. Her first, team's third. Jefferson is 0 for 2 from the line today, and you can make it 1 for 3. Last season, 79% from the stripe. And just like that, the Eagles are within 4. As they have scored 10 points in this quarter. That is nearly the tally they had in the first 2 quarters combined, which was 11. Perry Page leaves it for Kitty. 8 on the shot clock. Back out to Page. And that 3 falls air ball. And it has been that type of a night for both of these teams, specifically from beyond the three-point line. Columbia, outside of Cecilia Collins, is 0 for 3. And FGCU as a team is 2 of 19.
Not great offensive nights from either team so far.
Working it out on the perimeter. Another good look for 3, and in and out for Antonucci, as they have only made 2 of their 20 attempts. Columbia hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. Henderson the scoop. And the rebound by the Eagles. Here comes Cairns, surveying the field, trying to spot up a teammate. Santoro gets tripped up, and that's going to be another foul on Columbia. It will be the team's 4th, and they're going to get Raffu, and that is her 3rd. So Raffu, Weiss, and Kitty, each with 3 personals, roll at the basket, and then from downtown, 4-point game in NYC.
Valley Health System in northern New Jersey.
Between Columbia and FGCU, a 4-point game, but it's 25-21, and that is not an error. There is 4:39 to go in the third quarter, not the first quarter and not the second quarter, as FGCU shooting just 19% for the field.
I mean, Lance, if Columbia wants to win this game, they need someone besides Cecilia Collins to step on the offensive end, as they have combined the rest of the players on the team for 5, 7, 9, 11 points. She has 14, the rest of the team has 11. They need someone else to step up and get hot on the offensive end.
And normally that has not been an issue for them throughout the course of the last few seasons as we look at the breakdown between Collins and the rest of the team. And obviously a huge disparity there. Taylor was called for the last foul. That was her second as they went for the loose ball. The Lions in the half-court set. Not scored in over 3 minutes. Collins has had the hot hand, and she continues to deliver. Give her 16. She's 5 of 8 from the field.
Nice lefty drive there for Collins to get to the basket and get the hoop to give a little more space to the Lions, up 6 now.
And Page takes it away. Out into the open court, just has Antonucci to beat. Stops, pops, and lays it in. And Carl Samasco wants to talk things over for his team. Not pleased with the defensive intensity for Columbia, turning it into offense. Perry Page, a woman on a mission, had the necessary space, finished at the bucket.
These Bulldogs are the top dogs.
We've seen her with respect to her long-range shooting, and they have needed every ounce of energy out of her, Columbia. FGCU now looking to respond out of the timeout. Has not scored in over 2 minutes. The droughts have been overwhelming in this game for both teams. Jefferson off the dribble. The ASUN Player of the Year last season. Watches another turnover from her teammates, and into the open court comes Collins, the feed from Kitty, and she's cooking with 18 of her team's 31.
Lions turning up their defensive pressure. They're getting turnovers in the last couple possessions that have led to layups to extend this lead to double digits.
A 6-0 run in the last 43 seconds as Antonucci gets trapped in the corner. She's in trouble and in traffic, and it's a jump ball, and the possession arrow will stay on this side of the court.
Good trap there in the corner, forcing that jump ball and give the chance to them the next time. There's jump ball possession for the Lions.
So Mitchell Steen returns to the game. Antonucci takes a seat. Cairns will inbound to Taylor. Taylor only has 2 points in this game. She does have 5 boards. 3 on the shot clock for Jefferson. Spin, she's not going to get a shot off. Page with another steal. Out in front of the pack, and a lay-in in transition as Columbia is having its way at the expense of the Eagles. And another timeout taken by FGCU. They are on their feet here inside Levy and Jim. Collins creating well, now all of a sudden it's an 8-0 run in the last minute and a half, and they're 4 for 4 from the field. So they have turned things around instantaneously, it seems. And as FGCU has been hanging around in this game, now they face a double-digit deficit, and they're shooting just 18% from the field.
Good defense leading to easy offensive opportunities.
And speaking of turnovers, there is yet another. That's number 14 for the team. Columbia has scored 10 points off of the mishaps.
I believe that's 4 straight turnovers by Florida Gulf Coast, the last 3 for layups, so potentially, again, trying to add to those points. Opportunities here. This one is a dead ball one, so Columbia can't get the fast break layup potentially, but good job forcing another defensive miscue, or offensive miscue by the Eagles.
Well, those 4 turnovers have come over a span of 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which is matching the current scoring drought for the Eagles. Collins trying to feed it inside to Raffu. They go to Page instead. Perry the drop step and just banks it in. A smooth trip to the bucket for Perry Page, who is now up to 8 points.
Doing in the fast break, and that time with a nice drive to the basket.
So it's a 10-0 run. Can the Eagles stop it? And Cairns does so from the corner. Just the 3rd made 3 of the evening. And the 2nd for Cairns.
A much-needed 3 by them, a much-needed basket by the Eagles there. Cut it back to an 11-point deficit.
Both teams have combined to score 28 points in this quarter as we're going to get an offensive foul. Collins pushed off with the left hand for leverage.
Just a really good half-court trap there. No one came up to help her as a release for the pressure there. Just a good job by Jefferson trapping there right over half-court. No one came up for an angle for any sort of outlet pass to get her out of trouble there.
That's number 2 on Collins. She'll now head to the bench as Megan Griffith talks things over with her. Simmons, Page, Weiss, Kitty Henderson, and Aribola. The 5 in. Jefferson, Gordon, Antonucci, Mitchell Steen, and Maka Redamalis in for the Eagles as they're going to wave that off. An offensive foul.
Kitty Henderson doing a great job there, helping defensively, stepping over on the drive and just having your feet set. Easy charge call, go the other direction.
So the rare time in which the Eagles put the ball in the hoop, it's still negated as a result of essentially a turnover.
Clipped wings by that turnover.
Let the puns roll as Columbia now wants to talk things over.
I mean, twice now, Lance, that they've gotten over half court and they're going to bad spots that Florida Gulf Coast has been able to trap them literally on the...
Here in the first of these 4 games, a low-scoring defensive grinded-out affair, and this prepares them for maybe a matchup they'll see at some point in the Ivy League. We were talking about it in a break. Dartmouth played Brown last season. It was a 35-31 final. So this is not necessarily uncharted territory as Paige loses control of the ball, and she touched it last, so it will head back to the Eagles.
The only thing I'll say about that game is I believe it was just poor offense, not great defense. I think you're seeing pretty good defense tonight with shots not falling, but that game they're trying to keep it as more low scoring. That was Dartmouth's philosophy last year. Keep it possessions,
keep
down,
away.
Low scoring, yeah.
Yeah, they purposely were making sure that the opponent never touched the basketball, regardless of their offensive efficiency or lack thereof. 10 on the shot clock. They get it to Antonucci. And the up and under maneuver goes as that gets them to 26 and within 9. Columbia could hold to the final shot here in the third, but you're seeing the Eagles are going to try to trap here. They're not going to let the Lions milk the clock. 10 seconds here for Kitty. Jefferson now picks her up. 2 of the top scorers for their respective teams. Paige for three-point land, and it is up and in. Harry Paige, a one-woman offensive clinic, as she is now in double figures with 11 and adds the exclamation point alone. And the Lions nearly match their total for the first half of 20 with 18 in the third. Harry Paige had 9 of her 11 points in that stanza. And it's Columbia basketball to start the fourth, as the offense has picked up for both teams. Columbia now shooting just under 40%. FGCU at 23%. As Kitty Henderson gets Jefferson out of the way and takes her right to the hole. Despite the foul trouble, Kitty has 4 points.
I mean, really good sign for Columbia that you have 4 points coming into this quarter combined by Henderson and Weiss, and they're up by double digits.
Antonucci rolls it home. The 4th triple for the Eagles, and they are within 11.
And as we've mentioned, not shooting well from 3 is the Eagles, but you know what? They can get hot from the outside, get back in this game. A couple of threes puts them right back where they want to be.
And we're going to get another jump ball. Nice hustle there by Jefferson to tie up Kitty Henderson, and that pays off because it's going to be Eagles basketball.
Just a great play. They lost the ball for foot, and Jefferson dives after it. Both teams going for it. Henderson a little lucky there. She didn't get called for the 4th foul. Jump ball, Eagles possession.
Lions have turned the ball over 17 times. FGCU 15. As Gordon gives up her dribble. 13 on the shot clock. Antonucci's had the hot hand, trying to set a screen for Cairns with 7 with the left hand. Antonucci from the right side can't get it to go, and another jump ball as Jefferson's at the center of it with Simmons, but clearly it's going to go the opposite way this time.
I think Simmons might have gotten lucky there. I thought she actually moved her feet before she put the ball down and got the jump ball tie up. So ball Lions possession there. Good box out, good defensive rebound by Columbia, trying to, again, extend this lead a little bit on the offensive end.
And the Lions are +7 on the glass. It may go unnoticed in a game like this, but some second chance opportunities and the beautiful give and go. Collins and Kitty I would say they know a thing or two about one another. 42-29.
Beautiful give and go. As we said, the way to beat pressure is to sort of attack the basket, cut, and that's what they're able to do. Easy lay-in for Henderson.
Cairns will wisely kick it out. 10 on the shot clock with 8 minutes to go in the game. And Jefferson floats it in, but yet another bucket that is going to be taken off the board because of an offensive foul.
Great job stepping in there as we see Jefferson driving to the basket with the right hand. Maybe gotten fouled there, and Henderson again gets the foul. The offensive foul as Jefferson pushes off a little bit with the arms as the shot goes off. 2 offensive fouls drawn by Henderson that would have been baskets for the Eagles.
And that is the 4th personal on Jefferson. Mitchell Steen also has 4, but Mitchell Steen is currently on the bench for the Eagles. Kitty spots up for the tray and delivers. Kitty Henderson, she's no longer quiet. 9 points, and all of a sudden this lead is ballooned for Columbia. Antonucci from way downtown. And both teams all of a sudden showcasing the range in an affair that has a fresh breath of air squeezed into it.
Antonucci, the first player in double figures for Florida Gulf Coast, the only one keeping him in the game so far on the offensive end.
Collins turns and fires. Long rebound. Cairns wins the battle with the taller Rafu. And off to the races we go. Cairns kicks it out. Antonucci spots up and connects. Back-to-back trays. And it's back to a 10-point game here in an eventful 4th quarter.
Good looks on the offensive end by Antonucci to get easy threes for the Eagles.
And a steal off the entry to Rafu, but Page takes it back. We look at the difference in three-point shooting between half number 1 and half number 2 for the Eagles. Quite the turnaround. But a foul again, charged against FGCU.
And should be going to the line, I think, for 2 shots here as he was attacking the basket.
And we'll have multiple changes here as Gordon got charged with the personal. So Roll, Mitchell Steen, Antonucci, Cairns, and Retta Malice rounding out the 5 for the Eagles as Perry Page comes in on the season 4 of 4 from the line. She stays perfect at now 5 of 5 with Collins, Rafu, Kitty Henderson, and Nasi Simmons joining Page in the game for Columbia, and that is her first miss of the young season, in and out. So it stays an 11-point lead for Columbia. As this half, they're shooting 58% from the field. Roll off the drive and draws the contact against Perry Page.
Good job there by Roll attacking the basket. Henderson wasn't able to step over and get the charge that time. Getting in the line for 2 shots, as you see, going to her right there, attacking Page and getting the ball up. Good job sliding her feet, just leaned over with the body. That's why they called for the defensive foul.
First one against Page. Roll has not attempted a free throw thus far today. They're 5 of 7 as a team. And you can make it now 5 of 8. Roll 54% last season.
And Lance, when you're hitting threes, it frees up the drives because you can't help as much because you have to respect the three-point shooting of the Eagles.
And that's why things have changed a bit here in the second half. But that doesn't help the cause. Missed free throws. Henderson leaves it for Collins. They've been in flow. Henderson from the corner. Cairns the rebound. And now the Eagles looking to pick it up. She's immediately looking up. Retta Malice for 3. Strong rebound by Mitchell Steen in the lane to Antonucci, but a dangerous pass intercepted by Page, just has Cairns the beat. Cairns knocks it away initially and then is called for a foul as Page was settling in underneath.
Just a great job there by Page getting down the court, and Cairns with a great first defensive effort there, but just the second one as Page gathered the ball, went up, got a little bit in the arm, 2 free throws. Opportunity lost there by Florida Gulf Coast.
But a great job by Cairns making Page now earn the points at the line as she went 1 of 2 in her last trip. Paige now with 13 points, which is a new season high, to go along with her 5 rebounds. She had 12 boards exactly in each of the last 2 games and leads the Ivy League in that category. She cashes in both here as Jefferson will return for the Eagles. Roll will take a seat.
If you're Columbia, Jefferson has 4 fouls. You'd be smart to try to attack her on the offensive end, or if she drives to the basket, try to take that charge to get a 5th foul on her.
Jefferson with just 5 points. Not because she's struggling. She's just 2 of 4 from the field. We'll see whether or not she looks for her shot on this possession. Instead, gives it up to a teammate. As we approach 5.5 minutes to go in the 4th. Around the perimeter it goes. Mitchell Steen with the left hand switches hands and draws yet another foul on Kitty Henderson.
Nice drive with the left there. Henderson going with her, but then again gets her with the body right before she puts the shot up. 4th foul on Henderson now, so fouls mounting up. Henderson did a good job in the second half of not fouling now for the first 14-plus minutes of the second half, and now she has 4 fouls. You see the foul trouble on both sides there in this game with 5.5 left.
Mitchell Steen stays perfect, 3 for 3 from the line today.
You have Jefferson and Mitchell Steen both with 4 fouls for Florida Gulf Coast, and you have Henderson with 4 fouls for the Lions. Susie Raffu and Riley Weiss also with 3 fouls for Columbia.
Mitchell Steen, the transfer from Northern Kentucky. So this is just her 2nd game with her new team. It was Horizon League 3rd team last season, where she played the first 3 seasons of her career. As Paige is in the lane, kicks it out to Collins. Lions holding on to a 12-point lead. Each team with 10 points here in the final stanza. Paige with the left hand, switches hands, can't get it to roll home. But Perry will head to the line yet again.
Just a really good second half here by Perry. Attacking the basket here. Goes up, probably could have stayed there with the left hand, but switched back to the right, got the foul call. Going to the line for 2 more free throws, but she's been aggressive here, getting steals in the defensive end for layups, and then attacking the offensive end when she gets the ball in the mid-post range.
Cairns picks up her 2nd. Paige 3 of 4 for the free throw line. It's been quite a journey for Perry during her Columbia career. 2 seasons ago, tore her ACL in Ivy League play. Then last season, went back to her natural position because she was playing out of position, shifted back to guard, and now all of a sudden a more prominent role this year, given Abby Shue losing her to graduation. Now D'ing up Jefferson, somehow sneaks it through the Columbia D, but Antonucci couldn't finish at the rim. Taylor's there to clean it up, and more free throws coming for the Eagles.
We see Kitty really picked up her game here in the second half as she passed there for the open 3 she hit, giving Columbia a double-digit lead there, and here the nice pass off, giving Columbia a 49-36 lead going into the end of the 4th.
Giving.
At 7 p.m. Eastern. As we head back to the court here on the women's side with Lauren Taylor shooting 2. Was fouled by Aribola right before the timeout. Last season, a 67% free throw shooter. And she is 3 for 3 today. And she is able to hit both. So Riley Weiss now returning for the Lions. Nasi Simmons will get a breather. Avli Hosh back in the game for Columbia with Collins, Page, and Raffu. Jefferson, Antonucci, Cairns, Taylor, and Gordon, the 5 on defense for the Eagles. Collins tries to shuffle it inside to Raffu, read beautifully by Jefferson. It's a 2-on-2 break. Leaves it for Taylor and banks it home in transition. And a quick spark out of the timeout makes it a 9-point game.
Kitty Henderson quickly off the bench for Columbia there.
Collins leaves it in the corner to Weiss. She tries to get it to Avli Hosh, nearly stolen. Not once, but twice. Columbia around the perimeter. Page left all alone and makes the Eagles pay, plus the foul away from the shot. And we will have perhaps result of that foul.
Definite basketball play. I mean, no question. Arms got entangled. Right call, right idea to review it, but also right play to not upgrade to more than just a common foul.
So a 12-point advantage for the Lions. As FGCU trying to rally here late. They watched a sizable lead slip away in their opener at Davidson, led by 8 going into the fourth, as many as 11 in the third, and they lost by 1. Here, they're trying to come from behind. 10 on the shot clock for Jefferson. Leaves it for Cairns. They'll reset with Antonucci. 2 to go. Will she get a shot off? She does. Loose ball, and Page comes out of it, and yet another foul, and they're going to get it against Taylor.
Just a great job there by Page stripping the ball. That's her 4th steal, I believe, on the evening. Just not a good job boxing out, but a good job by Page getting her hand in there and swiping the ball away to give the ball to the Lions, and the foul committed, sending her to the foul line.
That is Taylor's 3rd, team's 5th. So we'll have 2 free throws here coming for Perry, who is 4 of 6 this evening. Perry now up to 19 points, and that is a new career high for her. As we look at her numbers, 5 rebounds, 4 steals. We're only 3 games into the season. She's having a career year, and she's adding to her tally. Make it 21. The ball bounced right to her off the missed free throw.
Man, she reminds me a little bit of Caitlin Davis, who played for the Lions a couple years ago. Fans might remember her just being able to stat sheet stuff and do things. As we see another turnover here by the Lions, forcing the 5-second call. Just a great player on both ends of the court, able to create things with her athleticism.
That is turnover number 20 for the Eagles, and the biggest difference in this game is points off of turnovers, because Columbia scored 19, the Eagles only 11. And they can add to that here. Riley Weiss, wide open look. Henderson, a second chance, and Columbia's back in business. Weiss, the scoop shot. Another tap out. Cairns quickly releases it to Jefferson. Jefferson just has Kitty to beat, and does so with authority at the bucket.
Wisely, Henderson sort of stepping away there with 4 fouls. You don't want to pick up the 5th one here. Your team's up by 13, but 3 minutes left. You want to stay on the court. It's more important for the veteran point guard.
Jefferson is up to 7. We approach 2.5 minutes here in the fourth. Lions have scored 17 points in the quarter. Collins turns and banks it in. Cecilia Collins up to 20. Believe it or not, 2 players in this contest have knocked on the door of offensive threats despite the start of this game. As Jefferson switches hands, and she has back-to-back buckets at the rim.
Florida Coast offense is going, but they got to be able to get stops here, down 13 with 2 minutes left.
Collins is at the top of the key as she watches Weiss put up the 3. Henderson on the floor. We're going to get a jump ball. Possession arrow will be in favor of the Eagles. As Riley Weiss is 1 for 11 from the field and 0 for 3 from downtown. She will head to the bench. Raffu joins her. Simmons, Avlihash, Page, Kitty Henderson, and Collins, the 5 in for Columbia. FGCU making some changes. It's Roll, Cairns, Retta Malice, Jefferson, and Mitchell Steen.
Listen, Weiss is moving up the scouting report with the first couple games she's had, playing very well. She'll learn from this experience today. Again, that probably wasn't the best shot with a 13-point lead, now an 11-point lead. Work the clock a little bit. Clock is your friend right now with 1:30 left, up by 11.
Eagles have made their last 3 field goal attempts, but it may be too little too late. Page kicks it in the corner to Simmons. And the long rebound goes into the hands of Jefferson. Jefferson, the Euro step, and draws the foul against Columbia as Perry Page was trying to keep her hands straight up, but her body got in the way.
Just a nice drive there. Jefferson coming alive here in the fourth quarter. A nice Euro step to get to the basket and get the foul, and more importantly, stop the clock to try to get some free points here and make this a single-digit game.
Second personal against Perry Page, team's fifth. So Jefferson to the line where she's 1 for 3.
Hence the Lions playing into the helping the Eagles their last 2 possessions, taking quick shots. There's clock is your friend here. No reason to rush the shot. Yes, it looks like it'll open 3, but with 22 seconds on the shot clock, you probably want to work around a little bit. You can get that 3 probably whenever you want right now.
So that makes the deficit single digits. We see the full court press by Roll. It's a 6-0 run for FGCU. Gets it across the timeline to Collins, the runner in the lane. Grabs her own miss. And the Lions can now milk more clock as we approach a minute here in the fourth. 8 on the shot clock. Raffu looking for the backdoor cut. Instead, hands off to Kitty. She's got 2. Ball loose, and it'll be a shot clock violation. That is turnover number 21 for Columbia.
The 1+ is you work 30 seconds off the clock here, so they're still up by 9 with 47 seconds left now. If you're Florida Gulf Coast, you need probably a quick basket here. Give the ball to Jefferson, either attack it or try to get a 3 to get this lead even closer, or deficit even closer.
Jefferson kicks it out to Mitchell Steen, the runner in the lane. Off the mark, Page, another rebound. Outlet to Collins. There is a 5-second differential between shot clock and game clock, and Roll fouls Collins. That's number 1 on her. Both teams clearly over the limit.
Nice job by Perry Page. They're getting the rebound, protecting the basketball, knowing they're going to come for her off the defensive glass, outletting it, and getting it to really good free throw shooter in Cecilia Collins.
And Perry Page with 7 boards in this contest. As Collins is now 4 of 5 from the line. She has 8 rebounds, so the 2 of them have combined for 15, and then they have 42 of Columbia's 59 points. And a lot of it coming in the second half. Cairns puts up the 3, well off the mark. And Columbia, with the shot clock off, will be in possession as FGCU is going to make some changes here following a quick timeout, as we'll see Skylar games when you have 21 turnovers and 21 made field goals.
No, it's very rare when that happens, and to be honest, Columbia's played a really good defensive game tonight against a really talented Florida Gulf Coast team.
Avli Hosh will give it up to Kitty, and we'll have yet another foul, so more free throws coming. It's going to go against Roll. That is her second.
Lance, a lot of excitement. Assuming this holds out for the last 14 seconds, both Columbia teams undefeated through 6 games, 3-0, 3-0. Hasn't happened in this gym that I can remember in a very, very long time, if ever.
Well, for the men, they are benefiting from continuity, and the women making up for the loss of their top player, but their depth on full display thus far this season. And that's the rationale behind why both of these teams have taken care of business. And if they keep this up, especially on the women's side with the defensive intensity, they're going to put themselves in position to win a lot of basketball games this season. Jefferson with 10 seconds to go, out to Antonucci. The fadeaway 3 up and in, as Antonucci now has 13 thanks to 3 made triples. And then we're going to have a timeout taken by Columbia, as we'll continue to stretch out these remaining 7.5 seconds.
Listen, early in the season, I don't mind trying things out. You know, you never know when you might need it later in the game when it is a 1-point game, a 2-point game.
So Avli Hosh will inbound right in front of her own bench because of the advancement off the timeout. Taylor applying pressure, gets it into Collins, and Cairns now is going to foul Collins. So more free throws coming for the Lions. They're 13 of 20 tonight. And Raffu will replace Weiss. And we'll see Santoro and Antonucci come in to replace Roll and Taylor for FGCU.
And Lance, we use Abby Shue, one of the greatest players in the history of Columbia women's basketball. Who's going to step up for them? And it's been Riley Weiss the first couple games, but tonight it was Cecilia Collins, Paige. Kitty Henderson had an off first couple quarters, but came on strong in the fourth. Just a good sign that there was more than one player that can score for Columbia, which will help them down the road in case people have off games.
It's that balanced attack mentality, and we saw it at times in previous seasons, but you need to take more of an initiative on this year's team, given the absence of their lethal scorer in Abby Shue. Cairns off the dribble, and that is going to do it. Make it 15 straight victories here at Levian Gym in the regular season for the Columbia Lions.